What's up, nerds? How's it going? Welcome to another exciting video. And well, okay, first let's go ahead and address this. Let me sit down. We gotta have a serious chat here. All right. So here's the thing, guys. I've even prepared a script to make sure that I try to stay here. Hopefully, I don't go off onto a tangent. But anyway, so let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. I know I'm late on this video. Next Fest was, what, 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. The Steam Summer Sale is going on right now, and I have to apologize. Well, not really. I don't have to apologize. Yeah, I don't care. That plain and simple, just whatever, just that's the whole thing. Now, you came here for reviews, all right? I promised you that you were going to get reviews, and so you're going to get them, okay? Now, we need to add a little addendum here, okay? Because there's plenty of YouTube channels out there right now. There are plenty of YouTube channels out there right now that are talking about, oh, well, this game was this, and this game was... Those other YouTube channels have no idea what they're talking about, okay? They're all amateurs. All right, they're noobs. They have no idea what they're talking about. All right, the only opinion on this particular site is my opinion. That's the only opinion that matters. Nobody else matters. PC Gamer, who's that? Bye. Nobody cares about you. I saw Steam the other day was putting out reviews for their next fest. Who cares what those guys think? Whatever. See ya. And these guys, yeah, this POS rag that claims to be a video game news source. If you have actually looked at any of the articles that they have published between 2016 and now, this is an absolute garbage. Nothing but clickbait nonsense. For the blue and green haired mob squad, and you know exactly who I'm talking about. But anyway, so screw them. We don't need their opinions because they don't even count as anything anymore. All right. Anyways, yes, I have a long hatred relationship with that particular publisher. So screw them. They know who they are. Kotaku. That's right. Anyways, so. None of those opinions matter. The only opinion that matters is mine and the rating system that I am going to apply. That's right, I have developed, through the amount of time that it's taken me to make this video, a special and legally binding metric on how to grade these particular games, okay? Because these were the only games that mattered at Next Fest, to be completely honest. I saw all the other titles, they were all garbage. I hate to say it, all right? I'm usually an optimistic gamer myself, but you know what? The thing was, these were the only games that I saw that were worth mentioning. And even most of them were not even on my radar, to be completely honest. They just popped out of the ether. Or ether. Ether? Either way, they popped out of space. But, so, we're going to go ahead and let's take a look at our first title here. That's right, our first title, not even a colony sim, all right? And you know me, I love a good colony sim, all right? Management games, stuff like that. The first game from Next Fest that caught my attention was not a colony sim game. In fact, it was a management sim game that brought back so many feelings of nostalgia. I have to say, I am looking forward to this game making it. All right, I am anticipating. The anticipation of this game that's going to come out is really awesome, and that game is called Blockbuster Inc. That's right. If you haven't seen the video, it's in my YouTube channel. Check it out. Whatever. Now, here's the thing. Blockbuster Inc. All right, you're put in charge of your own Hollywood studio. Okay, and you're able to make movies from different genres. You write scripts. Well, you don't actually write scripts. You have NPCs that do it for you, and based on their skill determines the rating, the overall rating of the film. But we can talk about that later. Okay. This game gives you so many options in customization, which is actually very cool. It's actually super cool. In fact, that is probably the worst thing they could probably do for me, especially because I'm the kind of guy that will spend hours in the customization menu for my particular character, and I will design it to how I want him to look or her to look. If I want her to have the big old Brazilian butt, I'm going to do it. There's plenty of mods for Skyrim and Fallout. You've seen them. We all know that they're there. Let's just be real about it. All right? I'm just saying. All right? Giving me the kind of power to do that kind of customization on characters, but now not so much characters. Now it's individual movie sets. I have power to design and develop movie sets to make them look genre specific. If they're supposed to be a vampire flick, I can put coffins here. It can be like a medieval setting, castle background. It's going to be so cool. I actually like that. You didn't get that with the previous title in this particular genre that I talked about. All right. The sets were pre-made. They were pre-built. They had particular actions on them. They were cool. It was cool. But you weren't given the option to do so. This game gives you the option to customize the individual sets, and they range from small, medium, and large. And you can save those sets, to your list. I'm only hoping, my greatest hope is that you are able to upload those sets to the workshop, and you're able to share your individual designs with other people. That would make the game even better. The fact that you can have workshop or even mod support in some fashion, that would be really great. And who knows the level of customization that we're going to see with this title. All right. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's really awesome. It's really cool. And it looks like it's going to go through the ages of film. So starting with like silent film all the way to like the blockbuster features that we see in the 200s. What the hell? But the 2000s. All right. But yeah, so it's a really good looking title. I'm actually looking forward to it. With the nostalgia factor for the previous game, which was called The Movies, which was made by Lionhead Studios, I have to give it a really decent, proper score, really good score. And this one I'm going to give 6 out of 10 starving artists for this particular title. I think I think there's a lot of potential there. And I think it's going to make it. When that game title comes out, it's going to be awesome. And I think a lot of people are going to be having fun with it, and hopefully they give it the support for the workshop, and then you can upload your individual projects to a library, or upload them to YouTube and share them with other people, which would be really cool. So that's pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next 2 titles. I'm going to combine these next 2 games only because thematically they were the same. And not to mention they were also, genre-wise, they were also the same. They were both colony sim builders. The theme was Mesoamerican, Latin America, whatever you want to call it. And you were in charge of these Native American tribes. Okay, specifically the first game that we're going to look at is called El Dorado. Well, the first of the 2 is going to be El Dorado. Now, I really wanted to like El Dorado. All right, I love the movie. Especially love the movie. The movie was fun. It was exciting. Not to mention had that, what's her name, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah. If you don't know, you'll know for sure. I'm sure there's a place on Reddit for that one. But anyways, the whole thing is that game was just, oh man, what can I say about it? It wasn't up to par. It really wasn't up to par. I was expecting a lot of stuff from it, because especially since it's been on my wish list for about 2 or 3 years. So that means they probably had maybe, before they put it out, they might have had maybe a couple of years of development, and then 2 or 3 years on the wish list. So that means maybe 5 or 6 years maybe in development. And I have to say it was pretty lackluster in terms of gameplay. I really didn't care for it, because it reminded me of the old school Civilization builders that I used to play when I was a kid, like the Impression ones. I did Zeus, Master of Olympus. That was pretty fun, but it had sort of like that vibe to it. You place down your buildings. They were insta-built. All right, you didn't have to worry about somebody walking into them or somebody constructing them. Um, you place them, you place roads. They have to be connected by roads, so your little people could walk here and there, to and fro, whatever. Resources were pretty much the same: your wood, your stone, your water, things like that. Then you had to grow food, or you could hunt for food, whatever. I thought the farming building was pretty cool because you had an option for slashing and burning, so you could make fertile fields, which was an actual method of doing things. So that was pretty cool. But overall, the game itself was just lacking a lot. I just didn't care for it. Optimization wise, it was lacking graphically. The grass looked weird, the trees looked kind of weird, and I mean, mind you, I'll share my specs in the description. So if the devs actually do come through here and look at this video for some weird reason, I'm not running on a potato machine by any means. All right. So that's the thing. Graphics I can let go. That's really not an issue. It's just gameplay wise. It just wasn't hitting it for me. Okay. And there wasn't really much of a story. It was just kind of like, okay, here you are. This is your area, build. That's it. There was really nothing there. But then again, it's still a demo. They probably haven't fleshed that out. So I'm going to give them a little bit of leeway. And by that little bit of leeway, the rank that I give this system is, or this particular game, is going to be 4 out of 10 blood sacrifices. Yeah, 4 out of 10 blood sacrifices is probably going to be where I'm going to keep it at. There's potential, but if anything, I've taken it off of my wish list and moved it to following on my Steam page. So that's definitely something that's there. So I'm kind of saddened by it, but hopefully, as development happens, maybe it'll pop up on my wish list. Who knows? All right, the next game is Aztec. All right, now Aztec, The Last Sun, that's what it was called. And that's actually kind of cool, to be completely honest, because I'm a big fan of the Aztec Empire. All right, the Aztec Empire was like the empire in Mesoamerica. All right, if you don't agree with me, fight me on that, historians. I'm just letting you know. All right, so for me personally, I had a really good vibe and feel to the game. I really enjoyed the individual artwork for the individual characters, so I thought that was well done. Same style, drop and place buildings here and there. Your runners on the streets, on the roads would go to and fro and stuff like that. But there was a little bit of a story involved in this one. There was this evil fog that was hanging around your little empire, or your little city, and you had to get rid of this fog in order for you to expand your city. Well, how do you get rid of the fog? Well, you're the Aztecs. What do you do? Yeah, pretty much. You sacrifice people to watch Chipotle. All right, that's right. Watch Chipotle. Put it down there at the bottom for me, Jason, in the future. Watch La Poche. All right, or watch, my wife is going to kill me if she ever sees this video. Watch Chipotle. Okay? I know I'm mispronouncing it. It's fine. I don't care. I don't speak Nahuatl. Okay? Now, here's the thing. That game was fun. It was cool. I liked it. In order for you to remove the fog, you had to commit blood sacrifices, or do blood sacrifices, and then create totems that were filled with the blood of the sacrifices. So you had to sacrifice, if you wanted to add more totems, you had to sacrifice more people. The individual artwork was pretty amazing. And the story to go with it and the individual characters was pretty cool too. This particular title right here, just because of the anticipation of the title. Okay, before I give you the ranking system, okay, I do have one negative thing to say about the game. Okay, the particular milestones within the game were lackluster. I wanted to see some amazing art of achievement, or maybe a simple CG movie. All right, like when I had the ability to could actually do sacrifices to build totems. You had to go to the Temple Mayor, and you had to click the button to start the sacrifices. And since it was the first set of sacrifices for your civilization, I was kind of hoping to see like a transitional art piece to where you have the high priest with his obsidian blade in his hand, and it kind of like focuses in the sun in the background, and he's just about to strike it down, something like that. Or I don't know, like a small CGI, simple CG film or movie clip of the high priest coming in with the knife, and he kind of gets in for censorship reasons, gets in the way, cuts out the guy, and then the camera pans out and he pulls out the heart, and he's just holding on to it, and everybody just cheers. All right, something like that. That would have been cool. That's my only negative thing. I'm hoping we see that. That would be cool. That would be actually pretty awesome. So with this one, guys, for this particular, I was thinking this is going to get 8 beating hearts. 8 still beating hearts. That's right. Cut out of the sacrifices that were willing to put themselves on the chopping block. That's right. 8 beating hearts for this game. I think that's pretty cool. And remember, this is the legit, legally binding metric, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? This metric is how all games are going to be measured in. Okay? They just haven't gotten the memo yet. They will get it, and it'll be copyrighted. I'm just saying, right here, this metric is legally binding. Okay? So, whatever that means. But here's the thing. 8 out of 10 8 out of 10 still beating hearts, that's a pretty good metric. That's a pretty good game. Okay? Now, so that game was pretty cool. Now let's move on into the not so cool games. It was unique. It gets a few points for being unique. It gets a few points for being artistically beautiful, for one thing, background and the designs of the individual buildings and the setting. But gameplay-wise, it just wasn't that interesting. That's where it lost most of its points. All right. And this one was called Lasara, or Laysara, however you want to pronounce it. Okay? Laysara, Lasara, whatever. But here's the thing. You're building on the side of a mountain, all right, which is pretty cool. These mountains have particular levels, different steps, all right? You have like the fertile area where it's a little bit bigger. Then as you get higher, there's less space, which was pretty cool. It was a pretty interesting concept. I could not rotate my buildings. I looked in the settings. I had no ability to rotate my buildings. And with this particular demo, you had very limited space. And I would imagine that's what gameplay is going to look like going into the future. So rotating buildings to fit in a small area, you're going to need that. And a lot of these buildings, some of them were rectangles, square, some were oddly shaped. Most of them kept to the square or rectangle format. But rectangles are extremely wide. Squares are also very small, so it's pretty easy to place those. But your rectangles, depending on how you want to put them and how you want to rotate them, that's kind of important. All right. Roads, of course, were essential because you had to have your little walkers move from place to place. Resource transportation was pretty cool in the sense that, you had from like you had to send resources directly from the place that was being made. So like if you had a farm, you had to go straight to the mill or you had to go straight to the warehouse. Or you had to go from point A to point B, then eventually to point C, or whatever the case is, or maybe A and B are too far from one another. So you need to put a warehouse in between. So it now has to go from A to B, and then the warehouse delivers it to C. Because now it's C and it was B. Whatever the case was, that was pretty awesome. Now, I really wanted to enjoy the game. I really wanted to like it, but unfortunately I couldn't. All right. It suffered from the same issue that El Dorado suffered from. All right. The demo itself had nothing for me as to the reason why I'm there. Why am I constructing this stuff? I mean, maybe there was stuff there and I didn't read it in the tutorial, whatever the case was. But other than just building on the side of the mountain, meh. All right. And then not to mention I got to trigger an avalanche. Now, if you go to the store page shows you this avalanche coming down, and it's pretty cool. You get to trigger it at the end of the demo, and I'm assuming that's going to be something that you're going to have to deal with in the future as you're playing. But there really wasn't any showcasing of environmental dangers. So hopefully in the future, it's going to it's going to get better. But I took it off my wish list and put it on my follow page. Most games that I want to see something happen better in the future, it goes to follow. If I want it immediately, it goes to the wish list, obviously. So for this game, unfortunately for this game, I'm going to have to give this game 3 yaks out of 10. Yep, 3 yaks. And the reason why yaks is because, well, I didn't explain it, and I should have. Yaks were an important resource in the game. They were needed to move like from different levels to, operate the cranes and wool and cheese and stuff like that. But anyways, so 3 yaks out of 10. But I'm hoping it's going to be something awesome. Will I buy it in the future if it's completed? Probably not. I'll probably wait maybe a year or two after it's released. Who knows? Whatever. So, moving on, let me take this opportunity real quick to say that I do live stream on Twitch and YouTube, and I bought some new software. That's right. I'm hoping to showcase it in the future as soon as I figure out how to deal with it. It's kind of fun. But anyways, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We're here at the last game. That's right. And this game is a doozy. All right. This game is something that I didn't know existed. It wasn't on my wish list. I didn't hear about it. I didn't know about it. Never heard anything about this game. But then it caught my attention from the title. And this game is called Norland, a storytelling generating game. And I thought to myself, like, that's pretty cool. It generates a story. I mean, any game can generate a story, but you're actively participating in the generating of the story. You see that with a lot of games as well, so that there's nothing unique in that part. But still, I'm very interested in narrative games now. Narrative games are pretty cool, especially if I get to be the star of it, or at least my character that I control. So, let me tell you what happened on the first time that I booted this game. Okay? So, I load up the game and I start it up. It's a medieval fantasy game set in a world where it's just a bunch of kingdoms lying around, and I'm in charge of one of them. But here's the kicker to this game, though. All right? I'm in charge of it. I don't have to do any of the work. The most I have to do is just run the place and study new types of buildings and stuff like that and entertain guests. I don't have to do any of the labor. I just have to tell my peasants what to do. This really was feeding my ego in this game, so I thought this was pretty cool. You load in. You have your little town, you start going through the tutorial, but then the tutorial tells you that your wife has been kidnapped by bandits. You don't know how it happened, but it happened. So I'm thinking like, well, geez, okay, what are my options? How do I get her back? Game gave me 2 options. I can either pay off a ransom, like a simp, or I can go in there like a Chad with an army, kill all the bandits, rescue the damsel, my wife, and bring her back to the town. That didn't happen. So, what do you think I did? That's right. I ain't no simp. So, I began building up my little town. My brother-in-law, all right, excuse me, not my brother-in-law. My brother was there with me. He was the other noble helping me build this town. All right. Eventually, I earned enough money from collecting taxes and stuff like that to where I was able to raise a small army of peasants, arm them, and then we decided to ride off and rescue my fair wife. All right, it's been months now. So I go out and we start marching. We get to the bandit camp. There we are, axe drawn. My brother's wearing his armor. He's got his sword on there. The conscripted peasants are back there with their weapons and a little bit of armor. And we go meet the enemy out there. And there on the dawn, at dawn, we ride into the camp and we duke it out in the middle. Just ha, 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 ha. Guy loses his arm, dude loses his head, and they run off. And we capture them. Whoever tried to run off. But anyways, and we rescued my wife. We bring her back, and I put that girl to work. We don't have dead weight in our village, in our kingdom, all right? If you're a woman, you go to work. I don't care if you've been kidnapped. We rescued you. I think we lost Steve, the peasant. So someone's got to pick up his slack. Not that she could because she's a royal, but whatever. The fact is, I immediately put her to work in managing the farm fields and some other buildings, okay? Now, mind you, my town is getting bigger. More people are moving in there. I'm building houses. I'm entertaining other nobles, and eventually the king shows up, all right? I'm having a good time with the king in my hall. We're drinking, we're eating, we're partying, we're having a good time. But all the while, my backstabbing brother, all right, Bernard, I think that was his name, was secretly seeing my wife. That's right. And eventually, she gave birth to a son. Now, if you're not familiar how the royalty works, when you have a son, you have an heir, right? All right. But he's not my kid. Not mine. So what do? I don't recognize him as an heir because he's not my kid. And then I move my wife into her own house, mind you. And that's how cool of a guy I am. All right. I don't want nothing to do with you, but I'm going to go ahead and still take care of you because whatever, I don't believe in divorce. So anyways, there you are. You can go live over there. I'm not recognizing this kid. And I made a decree about it that I'm not recognizing this kid as my heir. In fact, I recognize somebody else as my heir, another noble who I had recruited into the area. This pissed off my wife, and this pissed off my brother. But it also pissed off my kid. Fast forward a couple of months in the game, a rebellion breaks out because my son, my bastard son, convinces the other peasants to raise an army against me, and he kills me. And then my bastard son takes over. And I was so taken back by this game. I was like, oh, this game is so much fun. This is really great. And so, just from that mere experience, all right, I actually did a video on it. It wasn't all that exciting with my second playthrough, but the first time, oh my God, it was amazing. I really loved it. And this game is on my wish list. It's at the #1 spot. And I can only give this game the biggest honor, honestly, that I can think of. That's right. Yeah. Are you ready? You're not ready for this. All right. What do you think it's going to be? 7 out of 10? 8 out of 10? No, you would be wrong. That's right. I'm giving it 10 out of 10. But not only 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10 nerding heads. That's right. You can't get any bigger than that. All right. I'm just letting you know right now. You cannot get any bigger than my head. All right. It's impossible. So 10 out of 10 nerding heads goes to this game. And I highly implore you guys to take a look at it. Hopefully when this video comes up, the demo is still available till July 10th, I think I saw. I'm still playing it now. I've probably done 3 or 4 different run-throughs and it's been different. But I'm telling you right now, this game is not, you don't sleep on this game. If you're a fan of RimWorld, if you're a fan of RPGs like Going Medieval, colony sim builders like Going Medieval, RPGs like, and colony sims like RimWorld and stuff like that, this is the game. This is the game that's going to actually, it might even overtake RimWorld to where everybody's going to just like forget about RimWorld for a while. It's that serious. So I'm honestly looking forward to it. Yeah. I'm honestly looking forward to it. You really, yeah. You can't beat it, man. You can't beat it. I'm just letting you know. It's not a game to sleep on, obviously. Now remember, again, disclaimer, these are all legally binding metrics forms of rating games. Okay? If there's someone else out there who has rated this game any lower than this, they're out of their mind. They're insane. And they probably haven't even legally put in the paperwork like I did, all right, because I'm smart like that, to come up with this ranking system. So I'm just saying, keep up with it, guys. Check it out on Steam. I'll put a link to the description, a link for every game in the description in the video if you're curious. Check out my videos. Again, I live stream on Twitch. Check out, it'll be there and also in the description. All right, guys, I will see you all in the next one. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.